What's going on, people? And welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with myself, Guni, and Younes. And today is a very, very happy day. Very happy day. It is just so sweet. I'm not even going to lie. You lot have seen my upload that I've done prior to this live. I hope if you haven't, make sure you do check that out after this live. But Younes, man, I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to put all the YouTube subscribe and all that stuff out of the way. And let's just get straight into this. Marina Granovskaia is going to be out of the door by June the 30th, as well as Bruce Buck. However, Bruce Buck still has a small capacity within the club. But, like you said, he's not going to have no executive decisions. Younes, how are you feeling?
You're happy. Look at him. Honestly, like, for me, I'm happy overall. I'm definitely not as happy as you. You're grinning like Bugs Bunny on a good day with a bag full of 100 carrots or something. Like that's you right now. But I'm happy because look, we need. I'm happy and I'm not surprised. We need the change. The change is going to come. The change is inevitable. You know, we can't keep Marina and Bruce forever. That change is going to come. Todd Bowley's come in. It's new ownership. They're obviously going to want their people in, just like any other business. You know, you come and you buy a company. You're going to look at the first people around you, and you're going to want your people. So I can understand it. Todd looking at this and going, "Okay, no, we're switching it all up. Thank you, but you know, see you later." And I think for Chelsea, it's what we need. We need to change the structure. Overall, with Bruce and Marina, it's not been catastrophic. It's been at times really good and at times really disappointing. It's been a case of sometimes the transfer window has gone a bit pear-shaped. It's been Bruce Buck's been at Chelsea since 2003. We had our first big problem with him with the Super League. Yeah. That was recently. So the whole thing, like, fair play to them both. But as of right now and where Chelsea need to go, yeah, we need to change. And it's looking like Todd is clearly making the decisions to try and model the Man City way and the Liverpool way. And I think it's quite clear, especially now Bruce and Marina are stepping down. Todd Bowley's taken the reins. He'll be the new chairman. And Thomas Tuchel's been given more decision-making with transfers. Mm-hmm. He's going to be alongside Todd Bowley. Like, that's what Liverpool do with Klopp. That's what City do with Pep. So, it's a step in the right direction. We do need this.
100%. But this is the thing. You've obviously read the article. I've given away bits and pieces on it on the previous video. But you know, one thing that stood out to me quite a bit in this article was this. And this is on Marina Granovskaia, by the way.
Yeah.
Bowley has been negotiating Romelu Lukaku's return to Inter Milan, having already given head coach Thomas Tuchel greater power in terms of Chelsea's transfer business and contracts. The last bit we know, but the first bit, I don't know about you, but I actually didn't know that.
No, neither did I.
And that for me, and the reason why I bring that up is, has she already been relieved of her position? Or hold on, Younes. Hold on.
Yeah.
We've also got to be objective as well and look at the situation holistically. Remember, Bruce Buck and Marina did have a huge hand in this transition of Chelsea from Roman Abramovich to Ted Bowley and the consortium.
Yeah.
Right. So Monster was saying earlier on the stream, big up Monster. He was saying they had the opportunity to negotiate them staying further in the club during that time. So maybe it was their own personal decision. Maybe they felt themselves that now that Abramovich is gone and it's a new era, it's time for us to step away. Do you know what I mean? Things are going to be done differently. So possibly that could be an option.
Well, one thing we got to remember is they got bonuses from this deal.
Yeah.
So
no small potatoes either.
They're not doing things for free. Like Marina and Bruce, Matt Law said that in his article in terms of the point that you've just made, where they probably want to secure their own roles. Instead of that, they've made sure they've got themselves bonuses, and they're getting paid from the deal, from the takeover, and they've been paid. Fair play to them. Now they can go. you know, I would find it difficult. Now I look back, I can understand it'd be difficult for like Bruce or Marina to implement their own personal roles in a takeover of an entire football club when it's Roman that's selling, not them. You know what I mean? Or the Rain Group hired by Roman, not them. You know, that would be I mean, it's not corruption, but it's flipping like, yeah, you're putting your own interests in the deal. Like, I don't know. But they got paid. They got their share, they got a bonus, and I think now they realize it was inevitable, I think, that they were gonna go. You know, with as I said, with new ownership, a new direction. They're from the old way. They're from Roman's way. Just to automatically switch and listen to one guy above you who was never above you in the first place is quite difficult. So, I mean, fair play. And the model you can see has already changed because Bruce Buck never really had a hand in terms of like transfer negotiation. He was the chairman, but he wasn't. It was Marina. Todd Bowley's now become chairman, and he's having first-hand negotiation with Inter Milan over this whole Lukaku situation. So that's a new direction already.
That is,
you know,
that's very, very telling of the situation of what's going on. And it kind of puts things into perspective now because, you know, some of us were saying we're not moving fast enough. What's going on?
It completely makes sense now.
It makes sense now. But then when you even ask the question, right, of are we even moving quickly? Would we have got to this stage with Inter Milan if Roman and Marina and that whole, you know, backroom stuff hadn't changed? By this point in the transfer window, do you think this deal would have been this advanced, or he would be this close to being out the door?
It's a tough one.
This based on previous history of what you've seen, because personally, again, this is stuff that I heard that I was listening to on the Spaces. Like, if you look on Twitter Spaces, sometimes you got to look out for the Chelsea ones because they have really, really good discussions in there. They got really, really good points. So big up the guys that run that. Monster, Mike, I think CFC Con as well. He does them as well. They have really, really good discussions. So what was I just saying again? Sorry.
About Roman. If it was Roman, would we? Yeah, would we be quick or? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Usually these things they drag on. We get to the last week of the window, then a decision's made, and it just feels rushed. We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, they'd be hesitant. Although I think this situation is a bit unprecedented. We haven't had a case of a player come in such a mega deal like that, flop so hard, and then work the way back to the club he just came from. It's never happened. So the only example I can take, which is even that's different, when Morata started to throw a strop and to start dropping negative performances, and you could see he wasn't really caring. Yeah, we took our time. We eventually got him out the door, but that was kind of different. With this, it's Romelu personally wanting to, like, I'm going back. Like, I don't think that's happened. So I can't even say if Roman or them lot would have been this quick or dragged it a little bit. I would if I had to guess, I'd say they'd probably drag it a bit just because of how much it cost. Like, the whole thing was a lot of money, man. It's a waste. But Todd Bowley coming in, and I said this when the takeover was happening, when Roman had to sell, the new owners, for them, it's a clean slate. They're technically not losing money. Chelsea have lost money. They're coming into books where it's a bit of a negative, but they're not losing money. They're only going to be making a plus from it. So, yeah, at the end of the day, in that situation, we're probably a bit lucky.
No, 100%. And it quite rightly, like you said, Lukaku is all of these players actually are of the old quote unquote guard, Abramovich and then man there, you get me? So whoever goes, really, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's all in the black. And if you don't know what that means, it's all in the profit in banking terms. But yeah, so it is. So I'm just happy that this situation is being taken care of quickly, because clearly this situation with Lukaku is also a factor in what we can do elsewhere, because he's got huge wages. B, he is kicking up a fuss, and he is basically driving his own move behind the scenes. It's something that just needs to be taken care of before it just spills over into the season and is still there. I mean, it could be catastrophic. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Our season could be in jeopardy before it even starts if he's not out of the club the way he's been moving. So I think the way they're taking care of it is correct. I've seen a few people in the comments, they are asking, What's the progress with the Lukaku situation? Look, this is one of the reasons as to why I haven't been uploading so much, is that there hasn't really been much news until when we're going to see that this has all been signed, sealed, delivered. The bits that
at least officially, yeah.
that's officially
Apparently a fee's been agreed, which is nice.
So
he's going back for sure.
That's that much we know, but as of when, I couldn't tell
we
you.
don't know.
I think there's still things that need to be ironed out between Chelsea and Inter Milan. So, but soon that should be done, and you can just see by the actions of Todd Boehly himself actually stepping in and saying, "Yeah, you got to get out now." Do you know what I mean? Because if he's negotiating a deal with the fact that get him out of my club as quickly as possible, I like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just gone.
I have to say as well, like in terms of the speed, right? Because we've been criticizing like everything's been slow. We're not hearing anything. Now, as of today, we know why. But not just that, because we all still had the thinking that Marina was going to run this transfer window and then go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's still the old system. Now, as of today, we know it's not the case. It's Todd with Tuchel alongside him.
You though?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, some people are going to be like, oh, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing or whatnot. But like, he's going to have to start somewhere. Yeah. And we are going to be getting a sporting director. Again, at least Matt Law said that in his article today. We will be going for a sporting director, but that's not going to come overnight, especially if Marina and Bruce have just left or are leaving as of now. But when you look at the timeline, the fact that it was looking slow, and then we hear this, but as we hear this, yesterday we had the Sterling news. Yeah. Today we're hearing things like Richarlison. There's a few other links that are happening as of today.
Yeah.
We hear Bruce and Marina have stepped down. We hear Todd is dealing with Lukaku personally. We now know as of the last few days that has been actually quite advanced quickly. When you think of it, it's actually quite impressive to get all of that done that quickly in that space of time with an entire new ownership. So the panic that we had in terms of, things are not, what's happening? Nothing's happening. Now we know actually quite a bit's happened, and it's only natural that it was going to happen that way, because if there's the new ownership and people are stepping down and you have to step in and you have to pick up the reins and you have to sort out Lukaku, and it looks like we've agreed a fee and there's still 2 weeks till pre-season, we might be able to pull this off. We might be all right in the end. So as of today, nerves have calmed down for sure.
Well, they have, but then there's also the question of, some people are like, well, Todd Boehly doesn't really have the experience when it comes to football. How's he going to manage these deals? Is he going to overpay? Is he not going to offer enough? What are we going to go through? Well, look, Ben Jacobs has tweeted and he has relieved some of those fears. And he has said, just to clarify, since a fair few of us, Todd Boehly is not trying to assume control over everything. Becoming Chelsea's chair was a long-standing plan if Buck had left. It's a natural fit, and he's flanked by Jonathan Goldstein, who has excellent football and business knowledge. The pair work together extremely well and closely at Kane, where Goldstein is CEO, and Buck remaining on as advisor further helps the transition. Boehly is likely to be a very open, visible, and proactive chair. So, very, very positive things said there from Mr. Ben Jacobs, who we know does very, very good work as well when it comes to the Chelsea news. He gives us very detailed tweets. Very, very
fantastic.
Detailed. Yeah, it gives us like a whole, type, I don't know what they call it, but just multiple tweets at once. And he just really gives us detailed information. But so that kind of relieves my fears that he's got somebody who has that footballing experience and that is behind the scenes rated as somebody who knows what they're doing. So that for me does make this. I wasn't expecting this transition to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
And I was worried about it happening so quickly. See what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But now that I'm hearing this, I feel a little bit better about it. But I've got to say this. See you later, Marina. See you later, Bruce Buck. It wasn't all bad with them. We got to be fair. It wasn't all bad
clearly.
We'll start with Bruce Buck. Obviously, he's been here for over 2 decades now. Was there for the entire success of Chelsea football
Roman.
club. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, with Roman. So he's got to get his flowers as well. We know he's acted out of pocket in terms of the whole situation with the Ricketts family and then the Super League. But it wasn't all bad with him. Has he left at a good point? Is this the right time for him to leave? For me, absolutely. I'm not going to lie when I tell you, I think this is one of the safest things the club have done, because you see, with him, I believe he would have sold us down the river first opportunity that he got, showed us that with the Super League, showed us that, reinforced that with how he treated the whole Ricketts with the whole buying situation. I don't want to know what he would have tried to do further on down the line. So with him, it's time for him to go. Yep. Marina, different situation. I understand that she was, given so many things to do for one person, which was basically,
run the club.
Hats off to her for managing the way she did. But it got to a point where that system in itself was not sustainable anymore. The past 10 years in terms of signings have been, I think, more missed signings than hits. We haven't won a league for a minute now. Do you know what I mean? So things need to change, and there are better footballing minds that can take care of it. In fact, outside of that, there are better structures that have been shown, and Todd Boehly has said Liverpool is that kind of structure that they're trying to do at Chelsea Football Club. So it's a thank you, but it's time to go situation.
Yeah, completely. I think with Marina, for me, it's a weird one, because you remember this, like back in the day when she, when we had that dreadful window of 2017-18, or no, 2016.
Bro,
2017-18. Yeah, no, after we won the title with Conte, right? And we had that window of getting linked with Carroll and Barnes and all that. You remember that was going on? And I was fully Marina out. I was like,
and then it was that geezer from Inter, Biabiani or something. I was just like, I just said, whoever's responsible for this, just get them out. Just get out of my club. Just get out.
But before, like, I wanted, because it was Emanalo and Marina working together, if you remember. And I was like, nah, these pair ain't got a brain cell between them. Like, they both need to bounce, both of them. And I remember when Emanalo left, and I was like, okay, we're halfway there. I mean, talking about Emanalo, you probably have him back right now if you're talking in terms of a football mind, better than Marina.
Yeah, if you want to make a comparison, 100%.
100%. But and since that point, there have been times, especially back in Sarri with Jorginho, for example, like, okay, the manager's getting back, which is what we wanted so desperately, because Jose and Conte weren't really back, that we felt at least. And you look in terms of the Lampard signings that came in after that big summer, and we were like, okay, Marina's finally, she's doing what we want, finally. And as you said, they've been missed signings rather than hits, well, at least a lot of them have been. So when I look back now, it's like, you know what? As a director, considering Roman couldn't even access the flipping country, some of the money decisions that we've had at the club, phenomenal. The net spend, phenomenal. All of that stuff, fantastic. And that's why I give her some plaudits, because on that side of things, I think she's the best in the business. But in terms of like footballing decision, we did need a sporting director. And now this is why I'm saying it's probably best that we change. But to her, I started off wanting her out, and now she leaves with a bit of my respect. So I wish her the best.
Yeah, when you understand the full picture of what she's actually done for the club, and
completely
be like, okay, it's not entirely down to her as to why sometimes these things fail, because a lot of it as well is that we haven't acted in time. And then when you say, well, why do other clubs get things? Because they've got people dedicated to that. Do you know what I mean? And maybe one or two other jobs that are not as as intense as what Marina's doing. But so now you kind of get the picture. But it's interesting. Some news come out today.
Yeah, I saw this from DiMarzio, man. Oh.
Yep. Well, is
this a Marina stunt?
Well, this is the thing, right? Is I saw this coming. Maybe not him per se. I thought one of Gallagher, him, and outside chance Levi Colwill was going to be sold for some bread this season. Because look, one thing we have to realize, and I know it sounds cliche to some, is that not every single Cobham player is going to play for Chelsea Football Club. As talented as they may look, and as talent, and no matter how high they're ceiling, sometimes the manager's not going to fancy them. Or if the club see a financial opportunity that they feel is too good to turn down, they're going to take it. Now, before all of this takeover stuff, I would have been massively against this because of Marina and the board and the whole scouting situation, which we also need to talk about, by the way. Yeah. I would have said we cannot sell this guy. I'd be disappointed to see him leave. I would be disappointed to see him leave. However, who are the replacements?
This is the thing.
Because now, if you're selling him, I need guarantees now that quality is coming in to make me forget that we sold him.
We have to acknowledge Lukaku's leaving. If he leaves, we ain't got a certified striker at the club.
Right.
Except soon sub Bell in the youth team.
Right.
That's it. The only actual striker we have at the club.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then we've got Kai Havertz, who some like to call a striker, some like to call false nine. Do you know what I mean?
He's not a 9 though, is he? No,
he's not. So, but that to me screams
we're bringing someone in.
Exactly.
Have to. We're signing someone, surely.
It's like the defensive situation when people are panicking. It's like, do you think Chelsea Football Club are going to allow Alonso, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Christensen to walk out the door, and we're not going to bring in replacements? It's nonsensical.
But also in that department, at least the strikers, like it would be dumb to just have one striker.
It would be.
This is why I'm like letting Brozo go, considering that he's meant to come back for preseason and be analysed. He might not even get that. So are we getting 2 strikers then? Because I remember a time where we had 3 strikers and we'd struggle for depth. Now unless if we're just completely changing the way we play football, I don't know. But it's a bit mad. I'd like to think that obviously they're getting replaced, but are we actually going to get 2 strikers come in? I don't know.
The way it's looking, we're going to have to. But look, we're gonna come on to that. Let me just read this super chat real quick. Big up yourself, Exeter 1985, man. Friends, I think it should be remembered that 3 suspended relations when things were bad. Now they're back. As Younes said, if you leave, don't let the door kick you out. Don't come back. I think we might be this might be the last of them. I don't know what the deal is, how long they have it with Chelsea for.
Yeah.
But I imagine Todd Bowley and them man are gonna they've got their hands in so many pies. They're gonna find sponsors from over here, being America, and just we're not gonna have to worry about free whatsoever. I think
with free, I mean it's tough as fans. It's easy for us to go just get out, which is right, I feel. But there's contracts, there's terms, there's conditions, there's things we don't know about. I'd like to think Chelsea are not going to just bend over and just accept 3 to come back. Like, I think there's an actual legal obligation for them to come back. I think they have to, just to maybe fulfill the contract, or I don't know. And then after that, I don't think they'll renew.
No, 100%.
We'll probably find someone new.
So let's just get back onto the situation with the strikers, because look, just pure and simply, Lukaku is heading out the door. Broya looks like he might be heading out of the door to West Ham as well, which is interesting, which is very
ironic.
Ironic. That's the one. We'll leave that in the air. We'll come on to that. We've still got 20 minutes, so people, don't worry, we've got plenty of time.
No, don't leave it in the air. Put it in the pan and put some rice in.
Put some. Oh yeah, that's the one. Put some basmati East London rice in there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, who knows? But anyway, we do need a striker. But
the finest price.
The profile of I wouldn't even say striker, with the profile of player forward that we're looking at is a forward. We're not really looking at your traditional number 9s. I mean, I'm still desperate for Lewandowski to come to the club. Looks destined that he's going to Barcelona. They've somehow found a way, which was inevitable, wasn't it? And he looks favourites to be going over there, and he's hell-bent on going there. That's a club that he actually wants to play for in his heart, so there's no stopping him. But we have they've been murmurs about Nkunku, not really the strongest links. No, but to be fair, Simon Phillips, I do like he's a good source as well. He has been saying Chelsea are interested in him and looking at him, but I don't. know in terms of, are we actually going to make a bid? And remember, we are talking around the 100 million mark. I don't know if they mean euros or pounds. That's a lot of money to put on a player. Statistically, you know, he has been brilliant this season in terms of goal contributions. He's got ridiculous numbers. Some of us, and rightly so, have the PTSD of the Bundesliga tax because we have Timo Werner. You know what I mean? So, who has come from the same club as well. But you know, there is the Nkunku situation. And as of recently, there has been the Richarlison situation as well over at Everton, which I find very interesting because you have Frank Lampard over there. And we do have a bit of leverage because there are several players that I'm sure Lampard would love to take on loan over at Everton.
Gilmore. Yeah.
Do you want to see him loaned though?
Do I want to see Gilmore loaned? I wouldn't be against it. A good loan. He needs a good loan. Like Norwich was a catastrophe. That probably shouldn't have happened. But he needs to play, I think, regularly. He can't be on the bench. I think he needs playing time. I don't think he'll get that at Chelsea thick and fast because of what we need. Gallagher as well coming in for getting a DM in. Hopefully so. It's going to be congested, but I feel like he needs football. So 1 season loan and then to come back, I think would be perfect for him.
Now, here's my thing. If we don't get the DM that we're hoping for, if we don't even sign one at all, I think he has to stay.
100%.
That's a must.
100%. Yeah.
Because Jorginho looking the favourite to leave between him and Kante, I think will be leaving. So again, if we are operating on this 1 in 1 out policy, again, that is stuff of the old. I don't know what the new policy is, but I'm just gonna go on. I'm gonna go with the 1 in 1 out situation. Then, if it is Declan Rice, do we still loan him though? Because I don't want Kante.
Think he'll play
the solution.
Yep.
As a DM, because he's not a DM.
No.
Declan Rice, 100%, a natural. Billy Gilmore, natural. Kante, no. So this is why I'm saying, should we really be loaning him out?
So in that double pivot, this is the thing. Okay, so if we're going to stick with a double pivot, which I think is what we're going to do, then we'll have, say if we got, let's just argument's sake, we got a DM, right? Declan Rice, just for namesake. Declan Rice, Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, Gilmore.
Oh, that's a lot. But then it still remains the fact that only 2 of them are natural DMs. And if you want to throw in Ethan Ampadu there as well.
And if you want to throw Ampadu into.
Now him, because this is the thing, because I'm not the best one to judge this, but I've heard from several people that he has had a good loan over at Venezia. And not to be surprised if Tuchel takes a look at him and we go ahead with him next season at preseason. Do you know what I'm saying? So there is also that. But the fact is we can't keep both of them. One of them has to go on loan or possibly even permanently.
Yeah, I would think so. Because if not, it's too congested and it's a case of players are just not going to play.
Facts.
So,
but if one of them are loaned out, it's got to be a good one, like you said. If it is
100%.
As much as I'm not really feeling him leaving the club on loan on any capacity, if it is him, give him. I would say loan him to Frank.
Big time.
If there's guarantees of minutes though.
Yep. And I think, I mean, with Frank and Gilmore, at least there's already a bit of history. And I think he'll get into that Everton team, at least in that midfield role. I think Everton could do with someone like Gilmore. Gilmore in his day can be super creative in that role, even sitting deep. And I think Frank can probably get the best out of him, at least in terms of technically, and I think on the ball, I think Gilmore doesn't need much guidance. I think he's class.
I think the natural talent this guy has
is mad.
You look at him; he's constantly aware of what's around him.
Exactly.
He gets the ball out of his feet quickly. If he's pressed, he slips away. Like he's. I mean, like, listen, he's young. He will have holes in his game, and he will lose the ball sometimes here and there. But when you look at him as a full package, and then On top of that, and in this situation, because he's so young, I think he's hugely important. His mentality is elite, and it has been since he was 16 years old. You look at Billy Gilmore and you say, this guy's captain material from his youth. You look at him and you say, this guy's a natural born leader. And he carries himself for a teenager like him, for a young man like he does. He carries himself like a fantastic professional. 100%. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, 100%. So Billy, go on.
I think with Billy as well, what Frank can help him with is being able to, the dirty side of the game, to get proper gritty, in those dark moments or those hard games where it gets really difficult physically. He's not the biggest lad. I feel like in terms of, but exactly, he's got the right mentality, and I feel like for him to get the best out of himself with that, I think Lamps would definitely help him.
I think so too. 100%. And we also, bro, you remember the game he played against Liverpool at home where he
he ran the show.
This is what I'm saying. People forget this is a prime time Liverpool where Fabinho as well at the peak of his powers. He was skinning the brother and just taking the absolute piss. So you already know the guy is definitely, as Johnny says, got the minerals. Big up John. Oh flip! I was meant to holler at Johnny as well. I'm gonna shout him after the show, but big up Johnny if you're here. Big up yourself, bruv. I'm gonna have to shout you after the show. But this is a shout that I want us to stay away from. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't think that'll happen anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so too. The rumors have died down as well. But that's one where I just don't feel I think he's, from what I've seen, and again, this is YouTube as well. And I like to talk to people who are fans from different leagues, especially like if I'm seeing like a PSV player we're being linked with. I've got the Football Factory where we've got all the fan bases. So for me, it's just a matter of hollering at a man and saying, yo, what's this man here saying? What I've been told is he's an excellent destroyer in terms of winning the ball, and that he's a great destroyer. But technically, that's not somebody you want to be trusting at a high level in front of your defense to be getting you out of danger, because he doesn't get the ball out of his feet quite quick enough. His passing still isn't too great. In terms of power and build, yes, he is built for the Prem, but we already know that's not all you need to play in that position. So with him, if based on those, if that is true, then I don't want him anywhere near the club, because, and no disrespect to the player, I do get the Bakayoko vibes, because I've seen the Bakayoko name being thrown around, but I do kind of get Bakayoko-ish vibes. So hopefully we can stay away from him. I'd rather, if we're going to go for him, I'd rather definitely give Billy a chance over him. Even Ethan Ampadu as well, I'd rather give a chance over Sangare, 100%. Yeah. But since we're on the DM topic though, Younes, Declan Rice. Now, not many people, and still to this point, are not really feeling that he's going to come to the club this summer. I don't know where you stand with it, but your Simon Phillips, your Matt Laws, they're not closing the door on it.
No, they're not.
At all.
And I think after today's spoken a lot of volumes in terms of the ins and outs and what's happening at Chelsea. It's a complete transition of power. It's a complete shift in the way we normally do things. And that's it. Like, that old model is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. So we don't actually know how Chelsea are going to function. No one's got a clue. So we don't know what Todd's like. We don't know what they're like. They could wake up one morning, or they already have it in the pipeline in terms of following a process after acquiring the club. And I think now, after seeing the developments today, that is clearly, there's a plan. We could get down to a level in that plan where it's, okay, now we're going to address this defensive midfielder situation. We're going to bid for Declan Rice. It could happen. It could happen.
Because listen, what we do know, Younes, is that if the ownership is backing Thomas Tuchel in the decisions and the players that he wants, and Tuchel is helping on getting Declan Rice, and I know they're journalists, but your tier ones, your Matt Laws and that are not fully closing the door. Now they're trying to go in for Broya. And we've been respectful about the Declan Rice situation, if you look at it, because everybody and their dog knows that he wants to come to the club. We haven't been doing the whole Real Madrid thing where we come out and say, yeah, he's a Chelsea man, this, that, and the other. We're going to get him one day. We've been quiet and respectful when it comes to Declan Rice. So I wouldn't, and when you look at it next season, he's only going to have a year left on his contract.
Exactly. So West Ham are not exactly going to be demanding the same amount of money. They can't, unless if he renews, which it doesn't look like he wants to. So,
are we gonna want to? Well, are West Ham gonna want to sell Declan Rice for? I don't think they'll get more than 70, maybe 60 if they're lucky.
What, for Rice?
Next summer.
Oh, next summer. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or do they want to sell him now for between 80 and 100 mil? Which
Well,
I
exactly.
believe is the gold. Well, 75 and 100 mil, which I believe is the golden figure. Now, the 100 mil might not be paid straight up. It might be a thing where you see, Chelsea pays 75 M's and then, I don't know, 10 M's or 15 M's in add-ons or whatever. Either way, I don't care. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, and I've said early, even when the rumors weren't out there, I just said, I have a feeling that this Declan Rice situation, we might see him in a Chelsea shirt by the end of the summer. Obviously, that's what I feel. What I'm seeing in the press right now is kind of leaning towards my favor. Am I going to go for gold and say, yeah, he's coming? No, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that the door's still open, and that is Thomas Tuchel's quote unquote number one target for that position.
Yeah, and we have to pay attention to the fact. Now, I understand, of course, after what's happened today and the way that is happening at Chelsea, people stepping down, Todd stepping up, but we didn't even attempt to try and get a Chouameni or to try and get a Kamara or to try and get Bissouma. I mean, that was there for the taking. We didn't even bother. So either we're not getting a DM or Rice has always been the guy.
I personally think it's Declan Rice or nobody.
And I think it's exactly, I think Rice is going to be the guy. And I think a time will come in this window where we turn attention to Rice. I want to see exactly how Chelsea start doing things after Lukaku leaves, because that seems to be a common thing. It seems to be a common thing that the Lukaku situation has a lot of focus at the club right now. And once that's done and he's gone, we can focus on other things. Or I think at least now that is what we're beginning to do, with other names starting to pop up, like a Richarlison and whatnot. You're starting to hear things. Sterling as of yesterday. Maybe there's assurances at the club now that, Lukaku's gone. It's going to be easy from now. Let's start looking at who we need to bring in. I wouldn't be surprised if down that road, Rice becomes a name properly. So 100%. Just got to wait and see.
100%. Big up Exeter 1985 once again. What is the new rule of loaning players that he spoke of previously? Was there something about loaning players, a new FIFA rule? I think the 2022-23 season, which is the one we're going into now, you can only loan out, I think it's 8 players now, max, and they're going to keep reducing it. I think from 24-25, it's going to be like 7 or 6. They're going to make it smaller and smaller. I'm not sure what the cutoff point is, but I know it's a maximum of 8 players that you can loan out this coming season. If I'm wrong, gone.
You know who's responsible for that?
Don't say Arsene Wenger.
No. No. I mean, like, I bet FIFA are looking at that because they saw Chelsea amount of loans, like the loan army of 45 man outside. They're like, now we got to stop this.
Bro, you know what happened? As soon as that transfer window was open, they put the stereo on and they put the tune, push it to the limit. Past the point of no return. They just said, loan army out, get out there. Trust me. So they definitely looked at the Chelsea situation. They said, nah, these men are taking the piss. We got to put some rules in place here.
Big time.
Yeah, it is what it is. It was fun while it lasted. And this is the thing. We can honestly say we took advantage of the entire situation. So it is what it is. So that's the situation on the loan rules. If you want to hear the more technical aspect of it, I'm sure FIFA do have it on their website or something where they'll explain more clearly. But I do feel that I am right. I do feel that I am correct about this. Maximum of 8 players only to be loaned out in the season. So, the other one. I want to get through a couple because we've only got 5 minutes left. Just your quick thoughts on some. Richarlison.
Yeah.
That link to Chelsea Football Club.
You know what's mad? I think personally, give us your opinions. I'm noticing a pattern. Any forward player we're linked with is someone that can play across an entire front three.
Yep.
Seems to be happening. Yep. Yeah, everyone. We've been linked with Jesus can play across the front three. Sterling can play across the front three. Dembele, technically, can play across the front three. Richarlison can play across the front three. Like, they've all played up front on the left or on the right. They've all done it. So, yeah, it's a pattern. It's a pattern. And I think it's beginning to unfold as to what Tuchel's trying to do here. And I think what he wants is to have 3 players up top that can intertwine and change between themselves constantly every game. No problem with ease. So, yeah, we'll see. But Richarlison, I don't know how to feel about Richarlison. Because I look at Richarlison and I think mentally and physically, he's got that grit. He's got that mentality, I think, that we kind of need.
He's got this shithousery about him.
He's exactly. I love that about a Chelsea player. I hate when it's against us, but when it's for us, I love it. But in terms of his ability, or in terms of his, is he prolific? I don't quite know. I don't quite know. He's never had a chance at a big club, so I don't know what to think of him.
It's one of them. It's interesting. Do I want him this is my litmus test here. Before the transfer window's open, if you would ask me, is he in one of the list of players that I would have wanted to sign? The answer would have been no. Plain and simple. I would have had so many other targets ahead of him. So based on that judgment, for me, it's a situation again, and I hate this to be the cop-out answer, is if it's what Tuchel wants, then that's what we go with. Do you know what I mean? Big up the Red Wolf. Yep. Chelsea doesn't even have the biggest loan army. There are clubs that are well into the hundreds. Yeah, I definitely need to into that. Well, you can Red Wolf. Let us know who's got more.
Please let us know who.
Chelsea, 100%.
I'm actually interested.
Raheem Sterling's situation. We're just gonna roll through this real quick. Yep. Raheem Sterling's situation. Apparently, the golden number is £35 million. I don't even know whether that's to be believed, because now I'm seeing tweets elsewhere saying Manchester City looking for 55 and between 55 and 60 million pounds, which sounds more accurate to me, if we're being completely honest with it.
I think they'll come to a compromise.
Yeah, I mean, even if he's got a year left on his contract, a player of his quality, bruv, with 4 Premier Leagues to his name, they're signing for £25 million. That was the first bid that went in. I was like, this year. Probably that's what Bowley probably said. Like, bruv, this woman is she's done out here. She's bidding 25 M's to Sterling. Nah, I got to step in. I got to take care of this and make more sense of this, bruv. I don't know what's going on with this lady, bruv. Yeah, let me just see. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a mad thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing like, he comes to Chelsea for 55, 60 M's. Or it might be a thing where it's a 35 M's plus 20 in add-ons, which even that.
This is what I'm saying. I think there'll be a compromise. Because we're saying 35 million pounds. They're saying 55 million euros. 60 million euros around there, which
that is
I honestly think I think personally they'll agree a deal probably around 45 million pounds or something like that. I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. Similar situation. City will probably look at that and go, yeah, you know what, we're happy to let him go. We'll take that cash. Cool. Instead of holding him against his will, just because they want an extra 5 or 10 mil. I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll compromise.
It's not like flipping Man City or
it's City.
Do you know what I mean? Realistically, they don't really give a shit. Just give us something. Let him go. They're in that situation. Raheem, how would you feel about him coming to the club?
I'll be honest, he's grown on me slightly. Before I'd be like, no. But apparently Tuchel wants him. It's Tuchel who likes Sterling. When you look at Sterling's traits, I completely understand. I understand why. I think in terms of the system, I think he'll fit right in. My only concern, I mean, when you look at what he brings with him, for example, as you said, his Premier League titles, the work rate, his understanding of the game, the way he's been under Pep Guardiola. I mean, he's just been around the best, and I'm sure him bringing that with him is going to help us, at least in terms of mentality. Someone who's been around winners, like that helps.
Yeah, experience.
And experience. Mm-hmm. He's quick. He can be dynamic. My problem with Sterling is sometimes how long he can take on a ball, or how on occasions he chooses to be ultra selfish. He makes the wrong pass sometimes, or he loses possession easily. We have way too many players that make those mistakes. Like, if he can fix those, I think he'd be a great addition. But he needs to fix those. So
I think, honestly, I don't disagree with you. I think, he's a good signing if he signed on his own. He's a better signing if Ousmane Dembele is guaranteed.
100%.
He's an excellent signing if Declan Rice is signed.
True. Unlocks freedom. Yeah. Big time.
That's my judgment on the Raheem Sterling situation. And for that price, what they're asking for, you got to consider the goals he scored in the Prem, the trophies that he's won. Do you know what I mean? And also as well, the English tax too. And it also helps that he's a London boy as well. He's from Northwest London.
He is, yeah.
My guy already. Northwest General. But anyway, I think that'll be decent if we can get those over the line, 100%. Ousmane Dembele, we'll touch on that real quick. The video has come out. Somebody asked him, are you going to Chelsea? He said, I'm okay at Barcelona. I'm going to ask you this question. If you are under contract at Barcelona Football Club, are you going to say, yeah, I'm going to Chelsea Football Club? I'll see you at Stamford Bridge. This is when we're going to be announced.
No. No, of course not. And this is the thing. I've said this, and I was like, you'd be stupid to do that. But I know there will be many players that will choose to not comment and just probably put the window back up. Just don't say anything. No comment. You know, if something's so uncertain. There have been occasions in the past where players have gone, no, like they're just rumors. No, I'm not going anywhere. And they've stayed. You know? Now, unless if he's lying and he just doesn't care to lie in front of the geezer's face, then fair enough, we'll see. But that video and the way that he went about it makes me lean more towards that there could be a chance Barca keep him.
There's that, but then I also look at it from the point of view as well that his agent and him have already upset the club. And maybe that's his way of trying to pacify things with the club so he can get his way to leave the club. It might be a thing where it's like, listen, yeah, anything about Chelsea, you put away the speculation. We're in a very compromising situation with our finances right now. We don't want, teams knowing that clubs are taking our players left, right, and center. If you keep quiet until it's time for you to sign your contract and you're announced, we'll very much appreciate that. We'll let you leave. You see what I'm saying? Well, not that they've got the choice to let him leave, but I don't know. Maybe they just came to that compromise. Respectfully, it could be that. You get me? But also as well, it could be a situation like you're saying. He's just good at Barcelona. He might feel comfortable there already. He's at a very, very big club. Might be interested in participating in a project that Xavi's building over there, which does look good. So,
and bearing in mind, this all came out after the whole Barca thing happened and the vote and that General Assembly, like this whole thing happened after. So it can turn heads when you realize Barca are not in the mud like you thought they were. That can turn heads, but 100%. We'll wait and see. It's uncertain, isn't it? We'll have to just hold on tight.
Yeah, that's it. We've got Barcelona in the driving seat for 10 days anyway. So let's see what happens there. Time's running out for them. But before we go, I'm just going to read out this super chat real quick. Big up yourself, Jack Cowan. Hi guys, does this Lukaku loan deal mean we still have him on our wage bill? I want this parasite and his wages off our hands. I'll let Younes answer that.
No, but apparently Chelsea will not be paying his wages, which is great. Happy news. I mean, he's taken a massive wage cut anyway, and Inter will be covering all that, so we're good. But whether there's an obligation to buy or something, apparently there might not even be. So it's a case of Inter will just have to decide to buy later, which I don't know how to feel about that. But I don't see Lukaku coming back ever again. So hopefully not anyway.
No, 100%. Well, if that's the case, I'm more than happy with it. Just get him off our books. That's going to be huge for us. Exeter 1985, thank you very much. One final thought to keep in mind. But for Mr. Abramovich for giving a loan, Chelsea will be in great debt. Fact, and will forever be in debt to Roman Abramovich. We'll always love him. The greatest owner football has ever seen, in my opinion, and the greatest owner Chelsea will ever have. You get me? Regardless of whatever success we have with this consortium, if we get it, we'll always remember that the foundation and the basis was Mr. Roman Abramovich and that era. Yeah. So based on that note, before we actually leave, Younes, let the people know what you've got coming up.
So I've given my thoughts on the whole Marina, Bruce Buck situation and the fact that they've left or they're leaving. Video is already up, so do check that out. And then tomorrow will be a case of seeing what else is floating about and all the latest news and giving my opinion on it. So yeah, Younes Talks Football. There
you go. And also everybody's socials are down there in the description. Fred, we'll talk. Listen, the Lukaku situation, we're gonna find out pretty soon when it closes, and when that happens, we'll discuss it when we've actually got the facts and we see him with the Inter shirt. Again, I'm just not trying to go through all of that information over and over and over again. For me, I'm just waiting for a result. But people, make sure you smash that like button before you get out of here. Also, smash that subscribe button before we get out of here. All of that good stuff, you get me? We are still trying to build this community. Thank you very much for 10K. But we're pushing on to 11, 12, 13, 14, however far we're looking to go. You get me? But big up yourselves. I will check Fabrizio. I will check Nathan as well. Thank you very much for the heads
up. It's all about Lukaku. That's okay.
it. I'm pretty sure it's about Lukaku. But wherever you are, wherever we're doing, please make sure you do stay